so glad you dropped by again. Last time we were chatting about having that difficult conversation, a conversation that perhaps you're avoiding. Perhaps someone is actually just not doing their job, maybe depending on you too much. Perhaps you're seeing a behavior that you don't believe is acceptable, but you just really don't feel you have the skills or the confidence to have that conversation. So perhaps the thinking goes a bit deeper than that. Maybe these kind of thoughts are going around in your head. I hate having these conversations. I just don't have the skills to have these conversations. I don't have the confidence to have these conversations. In fact, it's just a waste of time having this conversation. Or even worse, this person is beyond it. They're beyond help. There's nothing you can do for them. So why bother? Now I'm going to suggest we have an internal dialogue that is either healthy or helpful. And if your internal dialogue is hurtful, then, or harmful, you're not going to have that difficult conversation no matter how many techniques or tools you've got in your kit. So once again, I'm going to give you a little gem that you can take straight away and apply back at the workplace, and it will make a difference. And my little gem is going to be around your internal dialogue. And to do that, I'd love to share a case study with you. This case study was conducted by a psychologist by the name of Rosenthal in the 1960s. Now, because I speak in color, you need to give me a bit of poetic license here because I probably jazz it up a little bit. And when you go look at the case study, it maybe doesn't look as interesting as this. So just bear with me. So the gist of it is that Rosenthal approached a school and conducted a set of IQ tests with a group of students throughout the school. He then took a bunch of kids' names at random and told 18 teachers in the school that these kids were gifted, phenomenal, off-the-chart genius, magnificent IQs. Now I want to share 4 little words with you to demonstrate what happened in this case study. So if you have got a pen and paper or you're near a laptop, I'd like to jot these down with me. The first word is belief. When those teachers were told that these kids were gifted, magnificent IQs, what did they believe? Did they believe these kids were dumb, or did they believe these kids had potential and had every opportunity to succeed? Yeah, the latter. The teachers really believe these kids have got it. They're going to be successful. The second word is attitude. How would you describe the teacher's attitude towards these kids? Good or bad? I'm suggesting you would say good. The third word that I'd like you to write down, and the most important word, so I'm going to get you to write that down in a different color, is action. And action is what we do and what we say. What action did these teachers take with these kids? Did they perhaps give them more assignments? Did they give them more rewards and recognitions? Did they just even say good job? Or if one of the so-called stupid kids put their hand up and gave the wrong answer, did they go, no, don't bother until you get the right answer? And when one of the clever kids put their hands up and gave the wrong answer, did they turn around and go, fascinating, interesting, let's unpack that? Did they perhaps give them more responsibility in the classroom, make them mentors or actually classroom prefects or any position that had some kind of respect or seniority around it? Just play that thought out. And the last word that I'd like you to write down is result. A year later, Rosenthal went back into the school and re-administered that IQ test. And those kids that had been labeled as gifted, their IQ point rose between 10 and 15 points, which is phenomenal. And they were described as more optimistic and confident about their futures. And here's the real nugget, is what the findings showed, it was not so much in what the teachers did or said in big terms, it was the subtle little non-verbal nuances that they gave off when they interacted with these students, which links back into if we believe someone's capable, if we believe someone's got potential, all our non-verbals will ooze that I believe in you, I have faith in you, you can do it. Or if we believe, I don't think you've got it, I don't think you can change, I don't think you want to change, our non-verbals just subtly start to give off this feeling of, I'm wasting my time, I'm wasting my energy. If your internal dialogue is not working for you, it will create some challenging outcomes regardless of the tools that you've been given. We all have internal dialogues. We're all talking to ourselves all of the time. And I think the time that we really need a helpful dialogue is when we need to be resilient, when we need to be strong. And so of course that leads us to our 6th and final program, which is resilience. Build the individual. And so, until we talk again, remember, you've got it, be bold and be curious.